everyone, you've made your way back to my channel, and if this is your first time here, voila! I'm still figuring it all out. Only have 1.5 years left of my 20s, so why not? You made your way to this video on your own. Why don't you just go ahead, subscribe, so that way every time I post, you'll be notified and you'll be one of the first to get updated on whatever I have to say. How about it? Today I just want to talk about how I'm able to keep and maintain a relationship with God while living an untraditional, non-monogamous lifestyle. So I was brought into this world by 2 Christian parents who were raised heavily in the Baptist church. So of course, my childhood, I was raised in the church as well. I wanted to make this video because I wish that when I was younger, when I was confused, when I was figuring out who I was and what type of people I was attracted to and wanted to have relationships with, I wish I had someone who told me that it's okay to be gay and God will still love you. If you watched any of my previous videos, mainly the one where I come out as polyamorous, I briefly talk about how I had a pretty sheltered life. So, of course, being raised in a Christian household, I wasn't exposed to gay people or gay individuals. And if they were gay, they were definitely in the closet or probably shunned and not a part of our family. If you're like me and you were raised in a Christian household like mine, being gay was something that was looked at as a phase or something that you would grow out of. You know, I've had several adults in my family, when figuring out that I guess was on the path to being gay, they would try to give me advice, and you know, they would ask questions like, do you think God wants you to be gay? Do you think God is okay with you being gay? Do you think God approves of this type of relationship? I knew that they weren't asking me this for my own true input, but more so it was like a rhetorical question, like, now you know. I didn't have any guidance when figuring out who I am as a queer individual, because at the end of the day, even though I am in a polyamorous relationship where I do still have a husband, I also have a wife, which makes me what? Bisexual? If we're into labels. Back to the subject at hand. Can you be on the LGBTQ plus spectrum and still have a relationship with God? I'm here to tell you, yes, you can. When I was a teenager, still heavily being raised in the church, I started not to want to go anymore. I felt a disconnect whenever I would go to church, and this was because I was coming into myself. I was starting to figure out that I was attracted to the same gender. I was starting to figure out, you know, that the type of person who I was becoming and the type of person who I liked that I was becoming wouldn't necessarily be accepted in this community of people that I had been raised around, you know? So it was hard. It was like, I don't want to be here. I'm not accepted here. No one here can relate to me. So by the time I got to college, I'm living on campus. So it's not like my parents are gonna come pick me up every weekend to take me to church on Sunday. So because I was becoming a young adult, I didn't have anyone to force me to go to church. I stopped going to church. I started praying seldom. And it's not like I was disregarding God, but it was more so I starting to take classes like African American Lit and African American History, you know, which would enlighten me on the fact that my ancestors, who of course are of African descent, most of their religions weren't even Christianity, and during the process of being enslaved, they were forced to adopt a religion, Christianity, which they used to manipulate and pretty much dictate slaves and justify the very reasons that they were being enslaved. So yeah, definitely after taking those type of classes, like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't the professor's intent or anything like that, but I was really, kind of like untrusting of God for a little bit. Like, however, I started to realize that I was receiving a lot of outside information about who God was, what God liked, what he accepted, what he doesn't like, what would make me go to heaven or hell. Then after my son was born, it really, hit me. It was like, if I want to have a relationship with God, and if I want to know who God is, I'm going to have to look within and call on him myself. And that's what I did. In 2019, I was separated from my spouses for about a year, and I spent some time alone in Texas with my family. One of the agreements that was made was that while staying with that family member, I at least had to go to church at least once a month. During that time, I started going to church, and sometimes I would go more than once a month. I started repairing my relationship with God. I started talking to God more. Another thing that allowed me to stay consistent with my faith is reading Psalms my age every morning. I started out reading Psalms 26 every morning before work. It's like a ritual. I will probably read Psalms my age before I brush my teeth, before I eat. That's my way of giving thanks and acknowledging God every morning before I start my day. So I started reading Psalms my age at 26, did that for an entire year. Then I turned 27, started reading Psalms 27 every morning, and now I am 28 years old and I read Psalms 28 every morning. It was the little things like that that allowed me to repair my relationship with God. And one thing that I want you to know is when you want to have a relationship with God, when you're actively seeking him out, he will open those doors for you. When I was alone in Texas, I had to have that talk with God. Went a little something like this. Dear God, I'm gay. And he was like, Tyree, I already know this about you. Do you really think that if you're gay, if you're trans, if you're bisexual, if you're a lesbian, do you really think that God doesn't still love you? Do you think that he's just going to be like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa? I personally don't think God works that way. While talking with him, I was honest. I was telling him everything that I'm sure he already knew that I was feeling. I probably just need to say it out loud and embrace it myself. I told him, I love this woman. I love this man. I want to be with them. I love that they love my son. I want to have a family with them. I know it's untraditional. I know it's not how you raised me to be. Let me be able to be in an untraditional relationship and be a light for others and show them that they can love whomever they want and still serve you and still love you and still be grateful for you. I started to really open up my heart to receive God's love and to receive his messages and to also instill that love in my son, because it doesn't just stop with me. I am accepting to all religions, and I believe that in some way most of them do tie into each other. So I'm not here to say that one is above all else or these are right, these are wrong. I just know that there are a lot of people who are born into religious families who feel like they have to hide who they are. They can't be around their family because they live an untraditional lifestyle than the ones that they were raised into. And I just want you to know that you can be exactly who you are and still have a relationship with the God that created you. I'm 28 years old and I spent majority of my life listening to people who I'm sure their intentions were good, because no one wants their family members to go to hell, right? But I was listening to them teach me about a religion that they are still learning about. People take this good old book right here, they misconstrue it, or they twist it, or they manipulate it to get you to live a lifestyle that makes them more comfortable. And so I had to tell myself, no. If I want to know what's in this good book, I have to read it for myself, and I have to allow my own knowledge and my own understanding to allow me to still be the person that I am. So yeah, I had been reading Psalms my age pretty much off of my iPhone for about 3 years now. So this week I did a little shopping, self-love for myself, and I went and bought me a new Bible. I know. Thank you. And I even got it engraved. You can see that. Yes, that's me. Do greatest love. Go follow. I just want you to know that no matter what gender you're attracted to, no matter what type of relationship you're in, no matter who they are, no matter what body parts they have, no matter what body parts you like, you can still have a relationship with God. You can still get your praise on. You can still get these blessings abundantly. Till next time, at the end of the day, stay true to who you are, and God is going to keep loving you through it. I don't know who needed to hear that, but I gave it to you. You're welcome. Go ahead and subscribe. Drop that like button.